What's up, guys? Happy anniversary. That's right, we have another episode of The Rundown, this time for the anniversary tour. Joined by my buddy, Antolev. Welcome, buddy. How are you doing, man?
Great, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic, man. We have the anniversary. It's always a special time of year where we get excited for the new items given to us, some weird pipes, and cities coming back. So we got a lot to get to. Actually, I take that back. We don't have a lot to get to. We have a lot of city buffs. This is, from that perspective, this might be one of the shorter rundowns, maybe an hour or so. Who knows? Antolev and I could talk for 2 hours about nothing. So we'll see. I won't promise how long this will be, but there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to the buffs and starting coverage. And so we'll mainly get into the crazy, insane pipes. We'll get into this King Mario and everything going on to this game. That'll be kind of the meat of this. If you just want to skip ahead to 20 minutes, I won't hold that against you. But before you skip ahead, a couple things. One, shout out to our members. They make this all happen. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even be allowed from my wife to even be doing this if it wasn't for these members. And honestly, this keeps me going. This keeps getting me excited. I absolutely have been loving earlier this summer doing the streaming stuff, and I'll probably do that again, hopefully here soon. But it's been a crazy month. I've been, going to a number of conferences, some speaking, traveling a lot. I've been in Nebraska, Chicago, DC, just in the last month here in September. So it's been absolutely insane. In fact, I have a birthday party at my house here today, and it's been just mad insanity chaos here at my house. So I would not be waking up at 4 a.m. like I did this morning in order to record a polling video, followed by this video, and joining up with Antolev, who he's taking time out of his morning with his family, if it wasn't for these members. So I just have to thank these members. They make this happen. If you might be saying to yourself, all right, well, thanks members. I appreciate you guys helping helping Studfit with his channel. No, you should think about being a member. This is an awesome opportunity to be able to connect with some phenomenal people. We have action count competitions every tour. We have member multiplayer Monday, which will be starting a contest back up in October. We got a lot of good stuff going on. And then also, you also notice I have my Draco shirt on. So rooting for Draco. He's coming close on 1,000 subscribers. Definitely take a couple seconds to subscribe to him. And then on a personal note, I think I'm at like 1,935 subscribers. So if you don't mind, just maybe we'll take a couple seconds here. I need like 65 people to just subscribe. To hit 2,000 subscribers. I don't get anything. There's no fireworks to go off, but it'd be kind of cool to hit 2,000 subscribers. Really about 2 years into having this channel and sharing pipe polls, being the pipe, reveals even here recently, or reactions. But really the bulk of it, the flagship of my all of my content is the rundown. We have something in like the 2,000 to 3,000 people, usually about 2,500 or so people watch the rundown, but only 2,000 subscribers. So I know you're out there. I know there are people, not everyone, there's not 600 people that watch it twice. So if you can, just push subscribe for me. It'd be huge to hit 2,000 subscribers just at the same time that all my friends are hitting their first 1,000. It'd be so cool to celebrate with them in very unique ways. Who knows? Maybe we'll put together some fun videos. All right. Thank you to the members. Just want to make sure that is shouted out. And also, Larry98 has been slaving away as well. He actually has, I'll rewind that. He actually has his sheet coming out today. So excited to see Larry98's sheet and you guys being able to use his spreadsheet. He's slaved for weeks, months, literally blood, sweat, and tears have gone into his spreadsheet. So that'll be released today. Shout out to Larry98. He's really helped us with that. Also, shout out to Sam, who's been doing the data mining. Huge, but really, like, the community could not do what they do. None of it without Sam. So appreciate that to Sam and other data miners out there. All right, Antolev, a lot to talk about. So at least when it comes to these pipes. So let's get into this week one pipe. To me, the way I see this pipe is actually a really, really cool pipe, in that we have one coin box driver, two boomerang drivers, but honestly, I'm more excited about these other items. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of this tropical truck, and honestly, these the gliders specifically are kind of cool too. And then we have a new coin glider, and then this phenomenal, beautiful or new origami alt that's it's got the crashing waves. Such a cool alt. I'm so glad that they made that. But let's talk about this pipe a little bit. What's your thoughts on it? And did you pull on this week one pipe?
No, I did not pull, but it's actually like a pretty decently cool pipe. 12% odds, and like as I always say, like you go for look at the quality, not the quantity. Just because it's 12% doesn't mean it's good. But you've got two really good drivers in here, two top 10, two top 15 drivers in Yoshi Kangaroo and Luigi Vacation. You've got a pretty new up and coming Kart, the Tropical Truck, and you've got one of the better gliders in the game, the Silver Surfmaster. So it is a decent pipe. If you haven't had the opportunity to get Yoshi Kangaroo and Luigi Vacation, I would say it's definitely probably the best pipe of the tour, in my opinion.
It's a great pipe. Like honestly, if you don't have these three drivers, or even if you don't have one of them, highly recommend pulling this pipe. This is going to be, I think, the best bang for your buck. Like actually, there's new items, there's hot items, there's valuable items, there's good coverage items, there's top skill items. You literally have everything. You have new gold, coin items. They have everything you want in this pipe. I think the one sad thing is, you get this Kabuki Dasher, but everything else is like phenomenal. Like literally, even this double decker thing, it's gold. Like double decker's not great when it comes to hitbox, but we kind of talk about like one of a grouping having good coverage. The other double deckers have been absolutely hot garbage. So this gold double decker might even have a chance too. So who knows? Ultimately, this pipe is really enticing. I think it's a pretty cool pipe. But let's talk about this starting coverage, which of course is all cities. But we also have this Mario King and the two new Mii suits. So Ansel, I'll let you take it from there.
Right. So normally I would run through the coverage on each item, and I would say, hey, like this is the starting tracks. This is a good start. This is a bad start. This is a strong start. Here's what I like about each item. Here's what I don't like about each item. However, for this tour, it is an all-city tour, so they all have all city. So there's really no lot we can say about them, except they basically all have zero starting value. I mean, it's not exactly zero, but I mean, you know how we consider rating cities with the algorithm that's starting cities. So I don't really see a lot of point in running through each item and telling you what they have. We're recording this on Sunday, so you more or less know what your options are for rank. So we don't even need to get into like, hey, what's good for ranked and what's not good for ranked. But I think what might be interesting to give you a bit of perspective is to kind of actually run through the items that started in the Metropolitan Tour and look at their coverage where they are now. The Metropolitan Tour was a tour earlier in the summer. It was started on the 15th of June, so it's a bit more than 3 months old. The items that debuted in that tour, they have seen 8 tours worth of buffs, including the initial tour. So we can have a look at where they're at now and give you an idea over 3 months. I would say the kind of like ranked peak for items is usually between their 3rd or 4th tour and maybe their like 10th tour. So I would say, a couple more tours and these Metropolitan Tour items are going to kind of be reaching the end of their window, and we can get an idea of like how good they're doing, and then what if you can expect similar things from the items that are coming out in this tour. So let's start first with the driver from the Metropolitan Tour. That was Chef Rosalina with Giant Banana skill. I know a lot of people went heavy on her because it's a new Giant Banana. She is sitting at 9 non-cities right now, and out of those 9 non-cities, she has I think 5 of them are 2022 tracks. Sorry. So as you can see, that's for me, that's like not enough. That's just not enough tracks to be convinced to invest in her. A normal driver that had a normal start would probably be sitting somewhere around like between 15 to 18 tracks at this point, where I would say like, okay, that's a driver I want to invest in. It will continue to get buffs. It will get over that 20 non-city track threshold. She's nowhere close. So for me, it's a hard pass, and she's really been the disappointment. To give a comparison, I think Rosalina Volendam, who's also a city driver, but not starting an all-city tour, had 14 non-city tracks already after her 3rd tour, and that was one where I was like, okay, this is a really strong start. I can invest in this one, be reasonably confident it will have good long-term all-around coverage, and also take advantage of the ranked ranked window where it's peaking and ranked a lot. So the driver. So if you guys are really looking at like King Mario and thinking, hey, he's gonna be great, he's gonna be amazing because he's rare, just be warned. You're starting with 10 all city tracks. That's a really massive setback for any driver. And as you can see from Rosalina Chef, even though she got like 5 buffs in her first tour after her debut tour, she still never like came to a point where it's like, okay, she's got really good all-around coverage, or she even looks like she's gonna have really good all-around coverage. And moving over to the karts, we had the Sweet Ride and the White Fast Strength. They both had 9 non-city tracks, just like Chef Rosalina. Sweet Ride has got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those are 2022 tracks, so 5 older tracks. And White Fast Strength also, as I said, 9. And I think it has 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2022 tracks. So again, weak start from those karts being out for only for 8 tours. Again, not items that I would recommend investing in. And we had three gliders as well. I think the best one so far is the Pretzel glider, which is sitting at 13 non-city tracks, which is actually pretty good. So the gliders have done like a little bit better. And then we've got the my sheet crashed. Sorry. We've got the Candlelight Flight Cake, and we've got the what was the last one? Oh yeah, the Tulip Corsage. Yeah. So hang on, because my sheet cracks, my sheet crashes all the time. The Candlelight Flight Cake has 12 non-city tracks, and 6 of those are 2022 tracks, and the Tulip Corsage has sorry about that. Sorry, I promise for everyone who uses my spreadsheet next tour, it will be way more stable because all of the spotlight buff stuff is going away. So that will, so that's a really heavy part of the spreadsheet. So sorry for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of the game, though, is these spotlight cut boosts and the way that that's working. The pipes will be gone. There's a lot of interesting things going on for year 4.
Yeah, and the Tulip Corsage is sitting at 11 non-city tracks, and 8 of those are 2022 tracks. So it's like, so the gliders are not so bad, 11, 12, and 13 non-city tracks, but still, after, gliders tend to have more coverage. After 8 tours, you would really want to have, for a really top tier glider, you would want to see more, because they are not going to get tours where they're getting like 2, 3, 4 buffs anymore. That is over. That was only for the first couple of tours. So if you're going for any of these new items, just be forewarned. I'm not saying they can't be good. I'm just saying the odds are against them. And based on what we know about items that have all city starts, they will probably struggle. And most of them will not be good. Maybe one becomes decent, but do you really want to gamble on that? And the other issue is that by the time that they have enough tracks that you're convinced in them to invest in them, you're probably not taking full advantage of their ranked peak. So for me, I'm not interested by the new items in this tour. All city tours, so far as we know, are basically a death sentence for items. So yeah, that's basically what I have to say about the starting buffs on the items this tour. And the bus is small, and it's a gold cart, and the other double deckers are terrible. So that one is just cursed, totally cursed.
It's gonna be tough to climb out of this starting coverage, and really, like, that's all you need to know. Can it climb out? Can it be useful? Sure, but you're starting with somewhere 8, 9, 10 less tracks. Think about it that way than you normally would from any other item. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, you said I got really hyped about the Mark IIs last year, and kind of similar boat where you're just like, all right, I like it, but there's not much value here. Even when city tracks come back, like an anniversary drive, I think I'd be using like the Mark IIs much more, but I'm not. It's unfortunate. As for the 100 pipe, there are some new items, specifically 2 new karts added to the mix. We got the Platinum Taxi and this Clankety Cart. I believe it's. I always get which ones are mixed.
Clanky Cart.
Clanky Cart.
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, this channel and the rundown is meant to talk about strategy. This has been less, I guess, impactful when it comes to the strategy of knowing what items are in these 100 pipes. But I will say, like when I look at, like Frenzy Fans has this really cool content about most valuable items, the MVIs. And really, like a lot of these items are on that list because they're most frequently accessible to the community because you have more of it. The way I see it is that these actually are more attractive to me to invest in because I know that I can get these leveled up. So if you're a newer player, like don't necessarily I think some people are like, oh, I don't want to level something up that I can get in 100 pipe and level it up more. But like that's exactly why you level it up. It's because the game will help you invest in it. Like it will actually help you make the progress and push you along. So for me, any of these items that are on here, now of course the drivers, like unless they're a top skill, you're not going to invest in them. But like even a Birdo Black, naturally over the game, or over the course of the year, there's a good chance you might actually get pulled Birdo Black twice. So like throughout the whole entire year. So that's just an example of like what's going to happen between all clear pipes and everything else going on with the token, etc. I wouldn't shy away from investing in these. I actually see it as more attractive than not. So anyway, just taking a couple of minutes to mention why we discussed that on the rundown. I kind of skim over it a lot of times because it doesn't necessarily impact strategy, but that's the way I would look at these items. Is these are going to be on those most valuable items list more often than other items. So there you go. Let's get into the anniversary pipe 2. We have Volendam, and that's about it. No, I'm just joking with you. No, it's there's some other items in here. I will be honest with you. This Ghost Ride alt, it's probably the weakest alt I've ever seen in the game. It basically, throws a little taxi sign and a couple other, just slight changes to the color. But it really is basically the same exact. It's kind of like the Bumblebee versus the other Bumble Karts, which I can't even. That has like a different shine to it. But other than that, that is the weakest. That was the weakest kart combo. This one might be just slightly weaker, but we do know that the Ghost Rides have basically all been garbage. So who knows? Maybe this one is valuable. I don't know. I will say, coming out of this tour with all these city tracks, my guess is it's going to be just another piece of garbage, similar to its brothers and sisters. But Angela, what's your thoughts on this week 2 pipe?
Again, it's going to be an all city start. So, I think the Happy Ride was a very good card for a long time, but it's also a small card, and that's a very old, that's a long time ago. So different meta. There's 2 good items in this pipe. There's Wrestling in Volendam, and there's Flower Cart, both top 15 items, not top 10, and the rest is big meh. So, don't pull. Unless you missed the Flower Cart and Volendam last time, and you really want them, they're good items. But I think you've got better options this tour.
Yeah, this is
this is a classic case of quantity, not quality.
Yeah, there's so many different pipes to pull on. Which, let's get to that, guys. This is probably, there might be people who are just watching the rundown for this one specific segment. Because
what to do.
Because there's a lot to take away from this, and I went back and I watched Kart Life and Kart Life, Sammy D, his reaction. Watched the Mario Pipe, his reaction there. I saw Carlos and saw Frenzy Fans. I saw Kevin Garrett. I went back, watched Shy Guy Kart. I watched all of them to see how they looked at this Mario Pipe. And honestly, they were all just in shock and like processing it. And that's the thing about reaction videos. And that's why I was never a big fan of reaction videos, is because it was just a reaction. It was actually not providing you any insight. So I think each one of them, as I think 2 minutes after they were processing it, was able to give some good information. But my point is that this is where we have to kind of remove ourselves from the emotional reaction to the tour and say, what's going on with this pipe? How should I approach it? What's the valuable piece here? Obviously, what's enticing between these 2 pipes is the brand new coin boxer in the Mario Pipe. And I think a lot of people are going to be going into this Mario Pipe. I don't really think there's a lot of, and I'm not even going to really talk much about the Peach and Daisy Pipe. It's it's okay if you maybe it's worth just discussing just briefly. But if you don't have some of these Peach and Daisy drivers, you can go into it. I think any pipe where you have 6 drivers in it in general is going to be good for you. But there's not. I mean, there's Hollow Daisy, there's Tie Dye, there's Peach Vacation, and that's about it. There's really not too many drivers that are going to have plus skills. I think for someone like Draco, shout out to Draco, which I think he'll be pulling on that this afternoon. I think around 5 o'clock Eastern. Definitely check out his video if you want to see what that video, what that pipe experience is. But I think anytime you have a 50 pipe with 6 drivers in it, that's gonna be strong. You know that the game revolves around drivers, revolves around frenzies. So I think both of these pipes hypothetically in a little bubble would be good value. Now here's the thing, going back to the Mario pipe. We have 15 Marios. I don't have to tell you that. You already know that piece of it. But I think what's interesting is that we have this brand new coin box driver. People will want to go into this pipe. He is not a spotlight. That part has been known since day one. But we do have 6 high-end Mario drivers in this pipe. So it's going to be really, really strong value. Same thing as we just discussed about it, is just having the frenzies. And so if you go in saying, hey, if I get 6 aviators or 6 Mario SNES or Mario Racing, like, am I going to be happy? Am I going to be content? Because if you are not, then do not pull on this pipe. It is not going to help you out. I do think, if you're looking for rubies or you're just looking for good high-end coverage for maybe a free-to-play, this is a great pipe to just, go in and get a lot of high-end drivers. But if you are going in for King Mario, that is a mistake. That is not wise. That is not going to be good use for your mental health, one, but then 2, also for your rubies. So here's the breakdown for King Mario himself. He's a medium hitbox. So we're talking about heavy, medium, small. His hitbox is going to be less than Charging Chuck, than Meowser, some of the other coin box drivers that we've seen this year. For 1, for 2, he starts out with all these cities. We've already discussed that. 3, he's also getting he's kind of like going to go through a similar buffing progression that Charging Chuck has. So they might even have some overlap there too, in which case, again, Charging Chuck is going to be the one that you're going to preferably use based on the hitbox. So, we'll see what happens, but there's so many top skill drivers that are all kind of be going through these buffing phases together that if you don't get him, but you'd rather go with, Luigi Knight or something like that, you might not see the value in Mario comparatively. There's that thing. But then the biggest reason, the 4th but most important reason, is that we're in the Mii world. This is the Mii's world, and we're just living in it. Like this, if you do not have Mii's and investing in the Mii's, it basically has made even these non-Mii drivers, even Coinbox, not necessarily obsolete, but like so much, their value is so diluted compared to years past. So we still kind of hold, Coinbox drivers on this pedestal. Just know that there's a taller pedestal, and that's where the Mii's are. So there you go. Those are 4 of the biggest reasons why you should not get too excited about King Mario. And honestly, if you want to be able to not get sucked into the gacha hype, I would highly recommend not pulling on this pipe. I mean, ultimately, the way I see this from like Nintendo's perspective is they basically said this was probably maybe a year or 2 ago. We eventually do have to get rid of the gacha aspect of this game, but that is one of the joys that a lot of people see in this game. Well, what if we just took away that joy? What if we just somehow made them not want that joy anymore, and they actually really wanted this brand new system? How do we get them to take it that way? How do we get them there? And that's where they introduced Mii's. That's where they introduced the Mii Shop. That's where we started seeing Charging Chuck in a non-spotlight. And now we have this basically the Charging Chuck pipe on steroids, in that we now have 15 Marios, no spotlights, 1 coin boxer, basically the worst value of any coin boxer that we've had in the game, and yet we'll still see people pull. So this is Nintendo's way of saying, hey, going into year 4, how do we get the member base to look forward to the end game of using rubies to just buy items and not pull them. So there you go, Anslev. A lot to talk about for this pipe. So hopefully I didn't steal too much of your thunder, but what's your thoughts on this Mario pipe?
No, so like I know you as a content creator, you are more or less like obligated to pull because it's it is our last chance for a really exciting pipe full video, and you've got this crazy pipe with 15 Marios and a new coin boxer and no spotlights. I get it. I am gonna just try to be the like kind of voice of reason here, and actually a couple of the points I wanted to touch on first you covered. I actually don't see a lot of value in King Mario. He's got an all city start, he's a medium, he's not a me. He came out at the same time as Gold Charging Chuck, so he's going to overlap with them. And we've got a lot of plus skill drivers lately. I just, I figure he's going to have to need like somewhere like 24, 25 plus non-city tracks to have a chance of sniffing the top 15 even.
Wow.
Yeah. And, with some exclusives. And like, they may do that. They may just go crazy on buffing him, give him like 10 exclusives and like, 4 new non-cities for the next 5 tours or something. I don't know. But the odds are against it. I don't mind for a second about passing on this pipe. I'm not gonna pull. I'll probably do some pulls on my free to play, but it's mainly because my kids just want to have some of the Mario ults. But from an efficiency standpoint, I would absolutely say, never waste a single ruby on either of these pipes. Absolute bait, and it is just Nintendo's one last attempt to separate you from your rubies. Look, my rule for special pipes is constant. You never pull a special pipe for one specific item unless it's a spotlight. The only reason you want to go into special pipe is because the bulk of the items, like 2/3 of the items, you want to have them. Then probability is on your side, and then more or less whatever you get, you're going to be happy about it. So let's look at actual value in this pipe. Aside from, so what I think is really annoying is we've got one Mario in the top 10, and that's Mario Samurai, and he's not in the pipe.
Oh,
so it was like a double troll, right? Okay, yeah. So let's look at the best rated Marios that are in this pipe and where they rank on the rankings. We've got, I think the number 1 is Penguin Mario, and he's coming in at 33. Then we got Mario Aviator, he's coming in at 36. Mario Golf 38. Satellaview is all the way down to 41. Poor Satellaview. Mario Tuxedo at 44. So those are the best drivers in the pipe, and they're all just mediocre, and then you've got some of the worst ones like Mario Swimwear or Mario Musician, and they're like way down the list. There is not value in this pipe. I mean, it's like, it'll be cool to have Stellaview. I think he's still like a pretty useful driver, but he doesn't have his exclusives, and he's got more overlap now than what he used to have. And the same thing is true for the Peach and Daisy pipe. Hollow Daisy kind of has some value, and Ty Daisy is pretty good, but I mean, she's a top 10 driver, but I mean, again, do not go into a special pipe looking for one specific non-spotlight item. I'm going to give you some numbers here just to give you an idea of how bad the odds are for getting King Mario. Because what you guys are going to do, we're recording this on Sunday, so you've already seen a bunch of people with some like lucky 10 pulls where they got them in like 1 or 2 10 pulls, blah, blah. I'm going to throw some water on it so you don't get excited. If you clear the pipe once, pull 6 high-end drivers, you have a 33.9% chance to get King Mario or any one specific driver. So if you spend 225 rupees to clear the pipe, there's only a 1 in 3 chance you have got it. If you do it twice, if you pull 12 high-end drivers, if you clear the pipe twice, your chance increases to 56.3, so just a little bit more than half. So you can spend 450 rupees and you still have just a little bit better than a coin flip of getting King Mario. If you do it 3 times, so 18 high-ends, you clear with 675 rubies, your chance rises to 71% chance. So you still have about a 3 in 10 chance of not getting him. If you do it 4 times, if you pull the pipe 900 rubies, clear it 4 times, get 24 high-end drivers, you still only have 81% chance to get King Mario. That means out of every 5 people who pull 900 rubies, 1 of them will not get King Mario. And if you do it 5 times, so 30 high-ends from this pipe.
Oh my gosh.
1,125 rubies, you have an 87.4% chance, which is 7 in 8. That means out of 8 people who pull that many rubies, over 1,000 rubies, one person is still not going to get them. There are going to be people who pull more than 1,000 rubies in this pipe and don't get them. And actually, I already know one, but it's not like, haha, that might happen if you really have bad luck. No, it is like statistically sure that people will do that, you know. Yeah. So I'm completely skipping this pipe. I refuse to touch it. I'm more excited for what's coming in the next tour. Like I said, I'll do a couple pulls on my free to play because my kids actually just want the alts for collection purposes. But from a value standpoint, please don't take the bait. Don't pull this pipe. If you go for it and you gamble and you get him, great. But the thing is, he's not even going to be that.
Yeah, what are you going to do with him then? You know, you're not
exactly. I mean, I'm not going to level up a driver who's got 10 city tracks. I mean, I'm going to wait, a couple of months, and by then, who knows, But I mean, as we saw before with the other drivers from Metropolitan Tour, it doesn't look good. So, you know what? Just don't touch it. This is massive bait and trolling from Nintendo. Please save your rubies and don't hurt yourself.
And send a prayer out to those content creators who have to pull on this dumb
yes,
pipe.
Exactly.
It's I mean, here's the thing. So with all that being said, you did a phenomenal job describing the odds, and I'm so glad you did, because this is a bait pipe. This is not a pipe you should pull unless you just want general Marios. But you hit the nail on the head. None of these Marios, like if Samurai was in there or something else a little bit more attractive. Here's the thing: we've seen these pipes. We've seen Saddle of You come back in a number of pipes. We've seen a lot of these guys. So guys, this is just don't pull. With that being said, Coinbo Ox is literally king. So I'm pulling on this pipe. I've actually already pulled on it. Video's already out there. There'll be a link, a card that you can go and watch that video. But again, prayers to those content creators who are just creating content. I do feel bad that there will be so many people going into this pipe. And again, I think I think a lot of people going in just for fun, just for kicks and giggles, and that's fine. You're allowed to do that, but just again, remind yourself that if you do not get him, do not go and get more pipes or packs. Don't go and try to find other ways to get rubies and then pull back again. And there's gonna be a lot of scorched earth from this pipe. I already know it right now. So there you go. There's a 5-minute rant on the Mario pipe. Just don't pull, and then you'll be really glad that you listened to us. Trust me. As for the packs, so I've been doing this GP90X, Gold Pass 90X, X being time dedicated to this game on a weekly basis. For me, it's a life game balance that I'm working out here. Full disclosure though, I will be putting 500 rubies into this Mario pipe for your entertainment, for pulling for the homies. So I did get some more packs than usual, but not a lot, or comparatively. So my dedication was to 90 rubies. I did get, for me, and when I looked at all these packs, it actually made sense for me to get this Mario mustache. And I know that sounds crazy, right? So you only get one pack, and you get the one pack that's with only one high end in it. I think it's really important to discuss because I think people see it and they're like, oh, one item, trash, but I think it's really important to think, like, a lot of times we're getting these packs, but we're only using one of the items anyway. Like, for instance, this, I was really attracted early on, my gut reaction was to maybe this Cupid's Arrow, or maybe this Pink Dozer. But am I going to use Pauline Rose? No. Am I going to use Toadette Builder? No. So for me, I have to kind of say, do I want the Pink Dozer, or would I rather do Cupid's Arrow, or would I rather have this Mario's Mustache? Mario's Mustache I did not have. So for me, my thought process is, and what my goal of this account, I'm saving all these tickets, I'm saving all these, these resources in the game. But if I want to go for top 10 or whatever, I do have to invest in something, meaning that I have to have it at least once. So for me, it's like, it's nice for me to have something once. And so this Mario's Mustache has actually been a really, really strong glider, and I'll have Anselov discuss its value. It's been actually, when it came out, it actually has some really good starting coverage. And because of the way that when it came out and what tracks were, these retro tracks were being brought back, such as Shoom Ridge, Coconut Mall, etc. We saw all these like the perfect buffing period of time, which like this like late spring period. So some really strong coverage there. I did so that was my like 90 my GP90X allocation, but I did get the, just for full disclosure, I did get this cat parafel 3 times in order to have it for ranked at level 6 and not use tickets on it. But my account aside, they're basically all garbage. I will say the one that's the most attractive is this Cupid's Arrow Kart. If you do not have it, I mean, it was in a special pipe, so that was and it was a spotlight there. I remember those days. But no, that's a really good cart for what it's worth, and certainly worth getting if you didn't have it. Maybe you're new to the game, maybe you didn't get it in that special pipe. But that's a really strong cart. But yeah, Pauline Rose, whatever she is, she's really not very powerful either. So I kind of put dudish on most of these, or dud. I do think that's one of the more attractive ones, but that's week 2, so it's gonna be really tough if you like this week 1 pipe, or if you like any of these other items. And then of course we have Penguin, Luigi in there, this commemorative item that we've already seen as a commemorative item. And then the tier 2 week shop, just helpful to see. I see nothing really when it comes to the premium challenge, commemorative item, week 2 tier shop are like must-haves. I think ultimately if you're trying to get rubies, you can kind of take a look at some of these, and hopefully this information helps you. But really, nothing really too exciting to write home about when it comes to the packs or other items this tour. You're probably gonna wish that hey, you know, Nintendo, if you're gonna give us these, you know, interesting pipes, at least give us good packs. But I think they do this on purpose. They kind of like to zig while everyone else is zagging, and like giving the good packs on tours we don't want packs, and then garbage packs like these on tours where we actually want the rubies. But Angela, what are your thoughts on the packs and other items this tour?
Yeah, not so impressive, like you said. Like, there's one item where I have a minimal interest in, and that's Cupid's Arrow. But it's, again, one of these, one great item and one pretty bad item. So they're basically just charging you 90 rupee pack for a high-end. Talking about the Mario's mustache, it had a really strong start. It's sitting now at 18 non-cities, which is okay. But for the gliders that have come out this year, I mean, we've got stuff like Candlelight Flight and Wonderful Wings sitting at like 25, 27, whatever non-city tracks. So 18 is not great. It's now it had a really strong start, so it was really good if you invest in it earlier. But it's all the way down to 61st place on the ranking. Some of the other mustaches have kind of taken over. Like the Luigi's mustache has done better, and Waluigi's mustache as well. Yeah, for the I'm not buying anything this tour. I will buy a pack here and there if I see something interesting. None of this is really interesting. Maybe the commemorative card, the Daikon Rocket. Daikon Rocket sitting at number 39, so not great, not bad, but it's cheap if you don't have it, or if you bought it 3 times last time and you want to, like, you know, get some kind of cheap level ups there. It's not bad. It's a newish type of card. But honestly, I see nothing here that's really compelling. The week 2 tier shop also pretty mediocre. Cacti is okay, but its time is also kind of come and go on. I feel like so. Yeah, I don't really need to talk anymore about this. For me, they're all duds.
Of the ice related carts, it's got a decent hitbox, so yes, I don't mind that Cact ice for the ice tracks we see, you know, vanilla lakes and DK passes and stuff that it has. But yeah, I'm with you. All right, so this is we're gonna talk about buffs, and all these buffs are all city tracks. It's gonna be really like we're probably gonna breeze through this, but because really you don't want your favorite driver to be on this list. You just don't, because you don't want all these city tracks. You don't want your favorite, like PD Piranha, having you know, these 4 new cities, and then we'll never see these cities ever again. Maybe once or twice, maybe one of these 4 you'll see in the next year, and that's maybe one. It's probably my best guess, is you'll see one of these tracks in the next 12 months. So that's 4 basically dead coverage tracks. So that's really, really tough. You know, with that being said, you know, it's nice to kind of see what's going on and be able to understand, you know, hey, Charging Chuck got 3 tracks. You know, PD Piranha got 4. It's interesting because, you know, Charging Chuck just came out. PD's been around for a little bit longer. So we'll see ultimately what all comes from this. But Luigi Knight, he gets a lot of these Berlin tracks. So like, he's got basically, if you like Berlin, shout out to Carlos and Larry 98 and other German friends of ours. But he's got all of them. So he's got like Berlin Byways 2, R, T, and he's got 2 and 2R, 3T and 3R. So that's kind of interesting that he's got this tie to Berlin. I don't know if that helps you, think about Luigi Knight differently, but it's interesting to kind of see his total tracks. He's got 9 assumed tracks at this point, 4 cities, which, coming out of last tour, same assumed cities, or same assumed tracks, but now he has these 4 cities. P. Pirana's got 18 assumed tracks, 4 cities. So these are all 4 of his cities came this tour. Charging Chuck Gold, he's got 11 assumed 11 assumed tracks, 3 cities. You see he's number 12 on our list. But really, this is going to be pretty straightforward. But Anselm, you want to kind of set the stage at all for these next couple slides?
I don't care about city buffs. So I thought it would be more interesting to look at who managed to avoid getting buffs. The sad reality is almost everybody got hit. Like pretty much all meta drivers got something. The only 2 drivers I would say that are newer drivers that didn't get any buffs are the P. Piranha Mii-suit and the King Boom Mii-suit, and that's kind of stretching it. Meowser and Kamek didn't get any buffs, but they're like way at the end of they're basically done, so that's not necessarily a good thing. And on top of that, Ty Daisy and Luigi Vacation managed to only get 1 buff, and they both got the same track, which is the ranked Singapore Speedway 2RT, so that's actually like pretty okay. So I would say those 2 are the kind of like winning drivers from the meta. Everyone else who's meta, top 10 plus skill, whatever, got at least 2 buffs, some 3, so, some even 4 in this case. I don't have a lot to say, honestly. I mean, let's just, let's get to the next tour, please.
Yeah. With that being said, we'll go through it though, and just kind of hit on some of the top 15, if nothing else. So Gold Me Racing Suit got the Sydney's because Ansel, we put together the slides, so the hard work we have to at least validate some of it. But Gold Me Racing Suit got Sydney Sprint 3R and Tokyo Blur RT. Question block, he got Tokyo Blur R and Tokyo Blur RT. Mario Samurai, it's interesting, he got a Berlin Byways 3R and the Tokyo Blur RT. Yoshi Gold Egg, Sydney Sprint 2, Sydney Sprint 2R. So obviously getting a little bit, it's interesting because he's kind of tied in with the Yoshi Kangaroo tracks there. Bronze Me Racing Suit got the Berlin Byways 2, Berlin Byways 3R. Yoshi Kangaroo got Sydney Sprint 3 and Sydney Sprint 3R. Rosalina Volendam got Amsterdam Drift 2RT, makes sense. And then Sydney Sprint 3R. Pink Shy Guy Ninja got Amsterdam Drift 2RT and Sydney Sprint 2. And then White Tanuki Mario got the Amsterdam 2RT and Singapore Speedway 2RT. Silver Me Racing Suit got the Singapore Speedway 2RT and Sydney Sprint 2T. And then for the drivers with 1 buff, this is what you're referring to with Ty Daisy, Tie-Dye, my girl, Singapore Speedway 2RT, which we talked about being the ranked track. Her and Luigi Vacation getting that track. Those are probably the winners of this tour. Charging Chuck getting the Berlin Byways 3. King Bob Gold getting Sydney Sprint 3T. Daisy Farmer and the rest of the crew getting some other tracks. I will say the Pauline Party Time did get the Berlin Byways 3R. And then, of course, if you watched any stream, you saw somebody spam in the chat talking about Koopa Troopa getting this buff. He did get the Sydney Sprint 3R, which I really don't think is interesting at all. But I saw Sammy got Tickled Pig. I think it's cute when they do it, but I'm not interested in that. As for the carts, we got the Warrior Wagon getting the most buffs here. It's number 3 on our list now, with Berlin Byways 3, Berlin Byways 3R, Tokyo Blur RT, and Tokyo Blur. Got the Cupid Zero, got 3 tracks, the Amsterdam 2RT, Berlin Byways 3R, and Berlin Byways 3T. Flower Carts, you can step away if you want to. This is pretty boring. Flower Kart, Strawberry Soft Swerve, Shielded Speedster. I think that's kind of interesting. It's already number 19 on our list. Red Off Roader got 3 as well, number 33. And then Tropical Truck got 3, number 62. It's been really strong for me, but not a huge hitbox. And then Cacti, my new favorite carts, number 65 with 3 assumed tracks. There you go. And then carts with 2 buffs. So you saw this Yellow Off-Roader. What an amazing year it's had. It's back to number 1 on our list. We'll get to that in a second. But you got the Sydney Sprint 2R and the Sydney Sprint 3T. Capsule carts, it's been pretty strong. That one and the yellow-green or green-yellow capsule carts have been actually pretty strong considering the fact that it does not have a large hitbox. Coral Jet Cruiser, been a really, really strong cart for a lot of players. Number 12 on our list here. White Bruiser, finally getting some respect. Number 13 on our list. It's a phenomenal cart in my account. Lightning Streamliner, one of the carts I wish I had gotten and invested in. It's had a really strong year. It has 2 buffs here with the Berlin Byways 2R and 3T. And then everything else is not necessarily hitting that meta spotlight. And then carts with 1 buff. You got the Prop Cart, Cactar, Flowery Bandwagon, and that really kind of encapsulates the top 30. And then by the way, you want to say anything about that, Ansel?
Yeah, I was just going to say that there are a couple of carts who managed to avoid getting buffs. The Armored Rider, no buffs. But it got Ghost Valley 2R in the last tour, and before that, I think the last time it got a buff was in the Piranha Plant tour, so it hasn't been getting buffs at all lately. However, it managed to avoid getting cities. Who knows? Magma Broom, also 0 buffs. Green Yellow Capsule Cart, also 0 buffs. Those are top 10 items which have 0 buffs. Also some older items which managed to avoid buffs. Silver King, Jukebox Buggy, and Combo Cruiser, all 0 buffs this tour.
I like it. Again, it's okay if you get a ranked buff. That's like the only time that we even care. But so you still get for our top 10, you still get that. You still get credit for getting that ranked track. But we don't. Any of these buffs are not impacting the value of the algorithm. So for what it's worth. As for gliders, there's one glider that has 4 buffs. That is this Mario's Hat Balloon. That commemorative item from last tour. Got some LA coverage there, 1 Sydney Sprint 3T and Singapore Speedway 2R. And then there are a couple gliders with 3 buffs, including Piranha Plant Balloons, Origami Glider, and then really those are the 2 top 15 gliders that got 3 buffs. Everything else, this Mario's Mustache, we kind of talked about, number 61 on the list, so it started really hot and has fizzled out a little bit there. And then gliders with 2 buffs, Wonderful Wings, with which has that rank track, which you really like there. That's really strong. Sakura, so again, that's been a really strong. Really, the top 4 gliders this year have been really, really strong. Wonderful Wings been a favorite for a lot of players. Sakura Origami Glider, it has a couple Tokyo tracks. 8-bit 1-up Mushroom, really strong for the ranked access there for the Sydney Sprint version. And that's really kind of the ones I want to mention there for gliders, and then a couple gliders with 1 buff, including the Candlelight Flight. So this is one that has been such a strong glider this year. It's weird, like I felt like we were coming off of the Golden Wings era, but really the Candlelight Flight has been the number 1 glider for a long, long time, and it continued. This is why I love the algorithm and why it continues to work is. Once something hits the number 1, like that's when it seems to get all these buffs. And so, if you're investing in top 10 items, you're gonna continue. You're gonna actually benefit than if you are investing in other items. That's just how it works, because that's how we built the algorithm. Record Setter, Green Cat Parafoil, Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella, all got these 1 buffs. But again, you don't really want the buffs, but 1's fine. Like 1 is okay. If it's a ranked track. You're really happy about that. So, anything you want to mention about the gliders and which ones came out unscathed?
Yeah, sure. The 2 top 15 gliders that didn't get a buff, Wicked Topaz and Black Parafoil, the 2 newer ones that still have buffs left to see. Wicked Topaz and Black Parafoil. Also, Golden Wings 8-bit Fire Flower and 8-Bit Bullet Bill also, none of those three got any buffs, but those are older items which are kind of finished. Yeah, no, I agree with what you said. I think it's interesting. Candlelight Flight and Wonderful Wings, our top two gliders, are both in the all clear pipe. So whoever says all clear pipe items are bad, it's not true.
Simply not true. Yeah, you know, it's interesting, right? So when we have an old item where basically it has seen every track, or you know, its buffing experience is kind of exhausted. You kind of you know, like having these buffs, but I think Nintendo doesn't always treat cities the same way we treat cities, meaning like we discount them. Nintendo is like, hey, you got a buff, you should be happy. So it almost kind of is an actual negative because it's one track that it could have gotten. So that's why we get so excited. You know, it's weird. It's a very interesting part of the game. But again, all this to say, if Nintendo all of a sudden switches stuff up and sprinkles in cities like we've been asking them to do, then this is all reworked, and buffs are now good, and city buffs are now good, and not. So anyway, for what it's worth, I do hope that they take that into consideration. Right now, it seems like they're trying to do whatever they possibly can to try to keep people excited about this game. So I don't know why they don't do that. That's hopefully in the future. We'll see what happens. But for now, we have to just work off this assumption that cities are not great. Buffs are taking buffs away that could be going towards actual real tracks, for what it's worth. Let's get into the algorithm. As we discussed, really the only thing that's being taken into consideration this tour is getting buffs from rank tracks, or you know, some of the differences when it comes to the paywall, etc. So that's really where you'll see some of these things move. But I will say, out of all the top 10s, this is a little bit stagnant because of that, and it's not our fault, but that's what happens when you have all cities in a track in a tour. So Meowser, Gold Me Racing Suit, Question Mark Block, Mario Samurai, Yoshi Egg, and Ty Daisy, all staying put from last tour. That's our top 6, and really, like, all these drivers are really strong. Obviously, five of those 6 all being Coinbox. So Coinbox is still king. We'll see what happens in the future. Obviously, Mario Samurai, a lot of people have felt that he doesn't necessarily deserve to be in the top 5, but if you look individually in a bubble at his coverage, phenomenal driver, really strong coverage there. It just happens to overlap a lot with other drivers people have already invested in, but that's not his fault. We got P Piranha up 1 spot to number 7, Charging Chuck down 1 spot to 8, and then kind of a similar flip-flop with the Bronze Me Racing Suit and Luigi Vacation. One moving from 9 to 10, 10 to 9 there. So really strong list though. We have, you know, certainly 4 Boomerang drivers, 6 Coinbox drivers, and a lucky 7, which is pretty on par for how we kind of see the strength of the game and what skills are really great. I mean, obviously last year we got bombarded by lucky 7. This year we're getting bombarded by Boomerang. I'm sure we'll get bombarded by Giant Banana next year, but this is right now really exciting times for Giant Banana. I can't wait for one to finally break into the top 10. We have Yoshi Kangaroo at 11, Charging Chuck Gold at 12 already, which is really cool to see. Rosalie and Volendam at 13, Kamek at 14, and Pink Shy Guy, the only Giant Banana driver in our top 15 at number 15. Angela, what are your thoughts on these drivers?
Yeah, like you said, there's not a whole lot of movement this tour. Just to give people some perspective, like the most valuable buff in this tour is getting a new ranked city track where you have like a plus skill, like a heavy Coinbox driver, and the value of that is or a me driver. I think so. The value of that is somewhere around 0.5. To give you some perspective, the value of an older retro is about 2. So it's about a quarter of the value of an older retro track. So again, that's why we don't have much movement. You know, you compare that to a new retro buff on a plus skill, you'd have a value of something like 4.5 or 5. You know, so it's about 1/10 of the value of what you get being a city compared to an RT track. So yeah, not a lot of comments. I was kind of hoping this would be the tour that Blockhead would overtake Gold Me, but it didn't work out that way. Gold Me got 2 buffs, and question block got the 2 buffs as well, so they kind of stayed the same. White Tanuki Mario is at 16. He just didn't make the cut, so I would say he's probably going to break the top 15 next tour.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Absolutely. Good. For the carts, we talked about the Rich Kitty Richard when it came to that yellow off-roader. Just had a phenomenal year, up 2 spots because of that ranked Berlin track. And then Armored Rider and Warrior Wagon had to make way for it to get to that number 1 spot by both falling down just 1 spot to number 2 and 3 respectively. The rest of it, relatively straightforward. I will say the Jukebox Buggy and the green-yellow capsule cart flip-flopped from Jukebox Now number 8 and the green-yellow capsule cart at 9. Everything else really stayed the same. With capsule cart at 11, Coral Jet Cruiser at 12, White Bruiser at 13, Combo Cruiser at 14, and Flower Cart at 15. And so, what's your thoughts on the carts?
Yeah, even kind of less movement. Where there is movement is basically because the items were very close in score before, and there's just a slight movement. You don't have the plus skill multipliers here to make even the buffs that we have. They're even worth less. So yeah, again, not a lot of movement.
Cool. For gliders, again, no change to the top 7. All of them still the same as last tour. I mean, I really think that these the top 5 here, really strong. I mean, I think the Product Plant balloons are still pretty early. I actually threw 1 ticket on it last tour. It was the only ticket I used last tour because it was at 3.5 and it was in a ranked track. But yeah, so we have Candlelight Flight at number 1, Wonderful Wings at 2, 8-Bit Fire Flower at 3, Golden Wings at 4, and Record Setter at 5. So these are 5 great gliders to invest in. Really could help your account. Any of these 5. 8-Bit Bullet Bill at 7, Sakura Origami Glider did go up 1 spot to number 8, with the Wicked Topaz falling 3. I guess because of the not getting any buffs this tour, but again, I see that as a positive. I like the Wicked Wings. I think Wicked Wings will stay in the top 10. So don't get too overhyped about it falling. It's not going to be descending very long, in my opinion. 8-Bit 1-Up Mushroom, really strong glider, still has gone down 1 spot, despite its nice little rank buff there. And then Green Cat Parafoil at 11, Origami Glider at 12, Black Cat Parafoil at 13, Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella at 14, and then Waluigi's Mustache at 15. What are your thoughts here on the gliders?
Yeah, so there is some kind of movement in the bottom of the top 10, but that's really just because gliders number 7 to 14 are all really close in score. We rank these on a scale out of 100, so Candlelight Flight is worth 100. The gliders from 7 to 14 are all between 79 and 81, so 2 points. So they're just really tight. So even tiny movements there can change their rank. But value-wise, there's not a lot of difference between 8-Bit Billet Bella and the Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella and absolute value. Like you said, Wicked Topaz fell 3 spots. We also mentioned earlier, managed to completely avoid getting any buffs this tour, which I see as a win. It's still a great glider. It's I got it on both accounts in the Bowser the Bowser tour, and it is either number 1 or number 2 on my priority list for upgrades. On both accounts, on my main account and my free account. I wouldn't say that it falling down to 10 is a negative. No, I'm really into it.
That's interesting, right? Because it had such a slow start. We were mocking it.
We were invested in it right away, and now you're being vindicated.
Oh yeah, I took it to 7,595. Like that first tour came out. It was the one. I work in healthcare, and it was the one healthcare item I really liked. But yeah, and it was. I remember saying, like, out of all the investments I made, this was probably the one I would take back, and here it is. It's probably now my favorite investment. We'll see what happens next tour. So this tour is really, you kind of see it as a plus, but you still also like, who knows? Who knows what Nintendo's doing right now? But some other top movers and shakers. We got Luigi Mii Racing Suit up 11 to number 60. Peach Vacation up 9 spots to number 64. Birdo Black, Cat Mario, Nabbit, Mii Racing Suit, Builder Luigi, Peach Happy. Again, this is not a big change. We're talking about 4, 5, 6 changes. Nothing's really changing that much in this game because of this tour and the way it's set up. But Wild Black went up 15 spots to number 80. which is kind of cool. And they got a couple Mark IIs in there, Inferno Flyer, Green Lightning, Black Turbo Yoshi even a little bit. As for gliders, the Blooper wingtip went up the highest, and it only went up 12. So not too much change there. Galaxy Glider went up 7 spots, number 12, which is nice there. Silver Star Shoot, a former good glider, up 7 spots to number 99. Black Cat Airfoil went up 6 spots to number 7. So there you go. Anself, what are your thoughts on some of these top movers and shakers?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can see there's not that much movement here. It's because of the thing. I mean, and also fallers. There's no big fallers. The main reason an item falls significantly is usually because it loses exclusives. And we don't count city buffs, even if a plus skill driver is the only plus skill driver, or a coin box driver is the only coin box driver on a city course. We don't give it the exclusivity bonus. The logic behind that is basically these come around so infrequently. By the time we see them again, whether it's a year or 2 years from now, it's almost guaranteed that it won't be exclusive anymore. So yeah, as a result, no change in exclusives, so no significant fallers, and the same thing with risers. You see what's going on here. There's very little movement in the top 10, so it's not much to say. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. So I will say for ranked, it's kind of interesting, right? Because there's not a lot of unlocks. You do have this Mario King if for some reason you have it at level 8, which again, we are not advised to do that. But if for some reason you do, you can use it on Singapore Speedway 2RT. My recommendation would be just invest in Tide Easy if you really want to use a coin box driver on that track. And then for week 2, it's interesting because we have this Metal Mario Cup, so you get the Metal Mario Cup boost there, but you also have the Black Carriage at level 6 there for Amsterdam Drift 2RT, and then you have the Mario King that level 3 unlocked for LA Laps RT, which is not a, I guess if you had to throw 2 tickets on them, not a bad option, but most likely you probably have a higher level option because it's not a huge, not a hard track to cover. As for multiple use ranked items, you do have King Mario used 4 times thanks to that level 3 and level 8 unlock. Yet, but that's by far the most. There's not much else that it comes into play. I mean, even Builder Toadette, who's in that pack, is used twice. Castle Me Racing Suit twice. Mario Sunshine, White Me Racing Suit, in White Tanuki Mario, all used 2 times. So that's kind of nice for White Tanuki Mario. I mean, if you're gonna get a nice, if you're gonna get a city buff, at least be ranked there. That's really strong. And then for the carts, nothing used more than 2 times with Cupid's Arrow, Daikon Rocket, Gold Double Decker, Pink Dozer, Shielded Speedster, Tropical Truck, all used 2 times with no other unlocks. So I'm loving using the Tropical Truck twice this tour. With the Black Carriage with a level 6 unlock, can be used twice as well. And then for gliders, this White Waves Origami Glider, the beautiful glider. This is the only one you can use 3 times. Nothing to unlock it with. Phenomenal glider. I'm really tempted to pull for that glider. It's a really, really cool glider. Cap Airfoil, gold cloud balloons, Mario's mustache, and Silver Surf Master used 2 times. So there you go. Any thoughts on this? The ranked options there, Antelope?
No, not really.
Alrighty. Oh, let's go! All Cup ranking for the anniversary. We obviously have Mario King there, that's second on the list at 12, with only the Castle Me Racing Suit number used 14 times. That's a lot for a Me suit. It has level 3 and a level 6 unlocked. Obviously, with the Bob-omb Cannon, it's not too enticing. Obviously, it has all these city buffs. So my recommendation is to not necessarily use that for All Cup ranking. All Cup ranking is going to be tough this tour. There's a lot of unique coverage it's hard to really get good coverage on because it's a city tour. But also, and because of that, it's one of the lower top 100, even top 10 projections. I think top 100, I think I saw like 1.55 or something like that million for All Cup ranking. So it's going to be, if you want to zig while everyone else is zagging, the city tours are...
If you want to ruin your account.
long term, you might not recover from that, but in the short term, you might get the badge that you've always wanted. I think, yeah,
if you want to shoot your shot, it's a good doer for it, because it's going to be, a lot of people won't have good loadouts.
Most people don't want to destroy their account, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I will say Yoshi Kangaroo, out of all the drivers, you probably have at a higher level. That one's going to be probably the strongest one for you. A lot of people already have him at a high level. So he could be a really good focal point if you are going for that top one. I will say the badge does look pretty sick with the King Mario on it. But yeah, I think Yoshi Kangaroo, if you want to throw a couple tickets on him to help you on All Cup ranking, he's going to be the one where you're not going to destroy your account by investing in him.
No,
he's really
that's
strong.
True.
So
what's really interesting, what I want to make before we move on, why Castlevania Racing Suit has 14 tracks? Because he only starts with 8 tracks, including I think Amiibo, so I think he's actually only starting with 7 tracks. There are 9 tracks in this tour, which are doubled. It's a really weird tour. And they've done some strange things. We've got Tokyo Blur R and N, NRT, but not T. They almost never do that. We have some sets of tracks which are doubled, but not all the same. So all 3 of the new Berlin byways are doubled. All 3 of the new Sydney sprints are doubled. Obviously, that's 6 tracks. But we have Los Angeles Laps 3T, which we see twice for some reason, just by itself. And then we have Sydney Sprint 2R and Sydney Sprint 2T, which we also see twice just for, I don't know. I think they let an intern design this tour, because it seems really messed up and weird, and I don't really understand what's going on.
Maybe intern 14. Yeah, it's the younger sister of intern 4 or something like that. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. But for what it's worth, I think the Cupid's Arrow is probably one of the stronger ones from the meta perspective. That wouldn't hurt you to invest in. It is used 8 times. Sure. And that's going to really help you out. But yeah, and then the gliders. I think the Silver Surf Master's a really strong one. Used 8 times.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are going to be, again, Yoshi Kangaroo, Cupid's Arrow, and the Silver Surf Master can be really the 3 that you could invest in. It won't destroy your account, but could really help you move up that list for All Cup ranking. So there you go. The most eventful, uneventful rundown episode you've ever heard. But thank you very much, Ansel. Anything else you want to say for those matches?
I can't wait for next tour.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on year 4 as we enter this game? I think every time that we come
meta shakeup, I mean, it's going to be totally new, right? Everything new.
It is going to be new, and what's interesting is so many times when we talk about a big change and all this hype is building to a certain point. I think what's so important for Nintendo is always what is going to come after that, and so there were so many times where we're like, oh, we gotta save rubies for the anniversary, so save rubies, and then it was always really the future of Nintendo's account is what are they gonna do the following tour. What's interesting for this tour is that this is one of the first times where we know what's coming. Kind of. Mm-hmm. We know that there is going to be that kind of that shake-up when it comes to how we access items. Instead of pulling on pipes with our rubies, we just can, I guess, technically purchase them. We'll see different changes in the pack values. I know we've talked about the money exchange. Instead of 135 rubies, you get 150. Our general assumption is that the packs will change too. I don't think it'll change much. My guess is that probably for the same price, we'll be able to get 100 rubies or 50 rubies instead of 45 and 90. But I don't really think there's much change other than that. They could rework some stuff too. We don't know about that, but there's gonna be that, and then there's gonna be the battle mode and the balloons and other stuff.
Prepare for a 2-hour plus rundown next tour.
Yeah, next tour is gonna be massive.
A lot to get into. It's gonna be a beast. Yeah.
But yeah, I know some people are excited about maybe balloons and the shapes or different unlocks.
Yeah.
I'm personally less excited about that. I think that battle mode has to bring enhancements to the one player ranked mode. It has to bring changes there. It can't just be oh, you unlock something else in this strange world that we don't know yet. So I don't think that's not gonna move the needle for me. But for me, if it gets, I've kind of talked about this this golden ticket or some way where you, because they've basically given us so many top skills this year that they've unfortunately corrupted. They've burnt Rome, and they have to build it back up. There's no denying the fact that we have all these plus skills, and they've basically. We heard yesterday, Knight Rosso is stepping away from the game. Good friend of ours has been on Kart Talk many times because and one of the things he mentioned was just all these top skills. I can't invest in them, and it really is kind of can be depressing. Can be the mental health aspect comes into play. So like there are players that just are kind of burnt out with all these top skills, and maybe burnout is the number one reason why people leave the game anyway. So my thought process is that they have to do something about all these top skills. They can't just keep doing this and just giving only top skills. That's what they have been doing, and I think that's probably going to continue to happen. But my thought process is one way to save the game, one way to save this burnout is you can, through battle mode or some other mode, get access to this golden ticket, and you can, when you use this ticket, change that default skill of that driver to any other or a certain skill for a certain period of time. So for 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever that is, and you can use your favorite driver, maybe Daisy Farmer. She can be a Coinbox driver for 12 hours or 24 hours, and your goal is you want to use that ticket when you have free time, and then you hopefully get a good run. So that's the one way I could see them that they could try to save what they've done to their own brand, but they have to build back Rome right now. Having all these top skills and Coinbox driver 2 tours after a Coinbox driver is just too soon, and even Charging Chuck was a little soon in my opinion too. So anyway, long rant there, but we have a lot to talk about next tour. We'll see what happens, but I do see some unforeseen shakeups as well. They have to do some stuff going into year 4 to keep us excited. But congratulations on 3 years, Antelope. Thanks for joining us for the last year and a half or so of joining us for the rundown. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
For sure.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Nope.
All right, you want to say goodbye to your fans?
Bye, fans.
Bye, goats. We'll see you next tour. Wish you guys the best, and stay away from that special pipe.
Stay away from the special pipe. Yeah.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.